What's going on, guys? Ryan Snaadt here, and in this video we're going to show you a breakdown of how I edit my wedding videos. So I've done about anywhere between 30 to 50 weddings, and I have a kind of a unique style, or a style that I like and prefer to use for my edits. When I did my first edit, it took me about 40 hours to edit my video together. I thought it would be handy to teach you guys how I do it. This isn't the end-all be-all for editing wedding videos, but there is a process that I go through to importing the footage, finding the right clips, putting my song in there, and then chopping it based on how I like it. So hopefully this video helps you out, and I'll give you kind of a walkthrough of how my workflow is. Okay, so to get started, we're going to create our project in Premiere Pro. Organizing your files is really important, so I will make sure that I go into weddings here, Eric and Kim, and then I'll just drop it in here. So now that I'm here in Premiere Pro, I'm going to go into the Assembly tab up here on the top and import my media. So I'm going to open my Files Manager. And when I got home from the wedding, the night of the wedding, I offloaded all my footage, so I categorized it by device that I shot it on. So I have my A7S, my A6300, my audio, and then I've got the photos that I took as well. I just took a couple of pictures here and there just to kind of capture some thumbnails. So I want all of these top 3 categories, and we'll import those in. This wedding's a little different. Usually I have them read vows or letters to each other, but since they had a traditional Catholic wedding and they didn't read any letters to each other and they're not very sappy or softy type people, they're just pretty chill. This is going to be a little bit of a different edit for me, trying to find some different audio that I want to work with. So since this importing process takes a second, I like to go and find some music that I'm going to use. I use Soundstripe for every one of my projects, including weddings. They're super easy to use, and I can find songs very, very quickly. So I go into songs up here, and then I go for the mood. So usually I'll have 2 to 3 songs in a wedding edit. Usually it's 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the length of the song. I usually start with a more soft, lyrical track, and then I come in for the reception at the end that's more happy, upbeat, and exciting. So usually I'll just search for mood, so this first one would be more chill or calm, and I typically look for an artist that I like that has a lot of these elements in a lot of their music. You can filter by mood, but you can also look at playlists here too, and Soundstripe even has wedding playlists, which is really, really nice if you're just wanting a quick song to find right away. And then Caleb Elthridge is one of my favorite just for these slow inspirational songs, so typically I pick one of his songs or something that's more related to that for this opening track. So I'll listen back to it here. And I'll skip around and find what I like. I'm not sure if that one fits for this one, but I will definitely add it to my playlist that I have for later. So wedding day playlist. I'll keep looking here. The typical flow of my videos start out with an opening upward sequence where it builds in energy and the music, and it sets the scene. So I'm talking about the prep. They're getting their hair done, getting their makeup done. The guys are getting their suits on. They're kind of screwing around before, joking and stuff like that. And then it'll build up to the ceremony, which is kind of the climax, or the kiss is the climax of the entire video. And then the downward action or the upward spike in energy is going to be the reception. So it goes up in energy and excitement, and we're showing reception, and it's fast paced. There's no slow-mo. It's all live video there. And then it slowly comes down a little bit towards the end, and then it's a soft out towards the end with kind of a soft exit of the day. So I kind of follow the path of the day, but sometimes I'll also shift this up, but that's typically the flow that I like to follow.
But I'm not even close.
This could work.
Through my inhibition, I've become quite sure.
I do like this one, so I'm going to download and license this one. So I'll just click wedding video, wedding, generate, and I'll download the primary with the local vocals and everything. and then I'll also download the instrumental. So another thing I do with just managing assets is I'll create a folder in this file for music, and then I take these downloads and I drop them in the music bin just so I know where everything's at. I'll minimize this, and I'll also drag the music folder in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to keep looking for a couple more tracks just really quick while I'm on that task, and we'll check back in a second. So again, I'm trying to do things while things process and transfer, so I'm being more efficient with my time. So while I'm offloading all those tracks, I'm going to go through and start sifting for my clips that I like. Now, I typically shoot a lot of my clips really short, so anywhere between 5 to 20 seconds, just because I like scanning the thumbnails and finding those moments. A lot of times, if you just do a full 30-minute recording, you're going to miss something in that recording or miss it when you're sifting, and it's not going to make the final video. I shot this video about 2 weeks ago, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind, so that's why I'm doing it right now, just because I remember the events of the day and how I want the video to play out. So I do know for this opening scene, I have drone footage of this town that I shot in from last year. It's the same location, the same wedding venue, the same reception venue. It's the same town. So I do have some drone footage that I can utilize for that, but then I also liked the opening prep scenes because we were at this lake house with a really cool, serene kind of vibe to it. So I'm going to make sure I open with that. So what I'll do is I'll just go through on the assembly tab, and I'll just kind of scrub through until I find the pieces that I like. I'll grab those clips and I'll just drop them on the timeline, and then I label it as well. So say I really like this one right here, we'll hit I for in, we'll scrub forward till we're out, we'll hit O, I'll grab just the video and I'll drop it on the timeline. Okay, I like that one. So this is why we're scrubbing. Start with the tree. Start from forward motion. And this is in slow motion. So that will be good right there. We'll grab that here. I'll go through this whole first camera on my glide cam, and I will label things and grab the clips that I like the most. Okay, so starting back in here, I was assembling some stuff, and now I've switched back. Obviously it's a couple hours later here. So I went into my stems and my audio, and I found this main stem, which is, I'm gonna mute this track here. This main stem is just the instrumental for this song, so it just plays the music without the lyrics, basically. So I liked that main song with just the lyric or the instrumental piece, but there are pieces that I like of the lyric version, so I'm stacking it and I'm popping in the lyrics where I feel they'll fit the best. So you can see this is just the plain version, and then here comes the lyrics version.
That this could be the easiest thing if I'd let.
So doing that, I'm going to basically cut out the lyrics that I think would fit well for this track and build out the first 3 to 4 minutes of the building part of this video from that. In the pieces that there aren't lyrics, I'm going to try and plug in quotes from the speeches and the vows that I do have to make it more personal and more interesting. Okay, so now I've got the main piece of this video kind of chunked out. There's a rising action here in the first 30 seconds. There's pieces that I can put in what limited voiceover I do have. We go into a lyrical chunk here in the middle. This will be more kind of right before the ceremony. There's a climax. We'll have right in this chunk kind of the kiss, the vows, that type of thing at the altar. Then we're going to have a downward action. We're going to start hinting at we're at the reception here. And then once we get to this part with other things going on, we're going to rise into kind of a climactic reception song. Haven't found one of those yet. I'll go back here to Soundstripe. Wedding and reception. We're looking for upbeat, hopeful, inspiring. No, these are a little bit too like EDM. Too chill. chill. I do like that one. I'm going to use that. So we're starting out here. We've got the building action with some lyrics. We have this down point in here for filling in some speeches. Building action to the ceremony, climax of the videos right here. We'll start our downward action towards here a little bit. We'll spike up back here at the reception again, and then we'll have a closing, kind of a softer thing with cinematic stuff, logos, their names, wedding date, and then we're done. Start with the sound because this helps me hear how the video is going to be, and I can outline kind of how the flow will be. And then I start filling clips based on that and how the storyline needs to go, so I can make sure that it's consistent with what my vision is for the project. And then what I like to do also is, now I'm listening, I just click on the timeline and hit M, drop some marker on here, and I hold Alt, and I drag this, and I can leave little notes to myself. So here, on lake, crickets, so here I have some lake footage on the gimbal. I want to hear this in the crickets.
That this could be the easiest thing if I'd let, but I'm too afraid of losing it all.
And then here, as we're starting to rise up, I'm gonna have getting ready. First look. That'll go there.
Love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Never been quite sure of myself or anyone else, but here I am with you.
So we'll say ceremony, it goes here, because it's kind of a down, somber moment. So that's when we'll have like the dramatics of her walking up in the dress. Slow motion. And you don't have to leave notes for yourself, but I like to do this just so if I have to get up and leave and come back, I know where my brain was going with how this is going to be. Since I said it's going to be split up over a couple days, I want to make sure I don't forget what my thought process is.
Hesitations on the show, 'cause this is what I choose. This will be the easiest thing if I let, and I can't be too afraid to fall. So I'm leaving everything on the table. You can have my
And that big crash explosion, right? I mean, that's pretty much where I want it to be in the timeline. This is going to be where the kiss is. So this is the big, they're married, that type of thing. So we're going to go and hit M for marker, Alt, and drag it. And I'm going to put the kiss. So remember, that's where the kiss goes. And usually I have that down the aisle. So we'll keep listening. So again, these are all like couple shots. I'll just put that in there so I don't forget. I like to put candids in here, so them laughing. You make it happy, it's fun, it's lighthearted, it's love. So here I want to have a speech from Dad. This was a really heartfelt moment. Him and the daughter, who's the bride, love to go fishing, so we'll say Dad's speech. So his speech audio will be here. So none of this footage applies, it was just on there. I'm gonna drag this over here. So yeah, right here, this building action is when the reception will happen. We're gonna have, this will be when the grand entrance. And then here's where I just kind of ended that scene. We're gonna kind of fold into so this dancier thing will be the reception. I need to blend this a little bit more. I may even make it a little bit more concise. So that kind of fades out, and then I want this to kind of start up. So we're gonna have like a dead zone here where it just kind of like flat and quiet, and that's fine as long as it's intentional. So we're gonna do exponential fade here. I'll drop that on this clip. We want this to fade into nothingness. So start it here. And then I want this to kind of start as well, so we'll start to fade this up. And this fade's gonna go, I mean, this is more of an abrupt stop. We're going from like very dancey to kind of very somber, so I want this to be a little softer on a transition. Towards the end, I want to do like a montage of the whole day, so I'm gonna like cut from different things. We're gonna put, we're gonna show various events through the day. So this one is like, and we're looking like, we're at the bar, we're getting the makeup done, we're laughing on the dance floor, we're with the buddies, we're drinking, like all the different things that are happening throughout the day. We're crying, we're laughing, all the different emotions. So then this big climax here, that last boom, we want to have that be the logo reveal, which would just be their names and their wedding date. Flash my SMG branding, add sound effects. So there's a lot that happens at the end, but it'll basically be a loud crescendo and then resolution, and we'll show them with their name and their wedding date. It'll fade out, and then my branding will pop up briefly and have a camera snap. It'll snap out, and then we'll fade into nothingness. So as you can see, I mean, we've been doing this for probably half an hour now of just laying this timeline down with the music. But honestly, guys, like the music is everything. If you don't have the timeline, the storyline, the ebb and flow of emotion, gaps for having personal touches of vows and stuff, you're missing a big opportunity to really make this an emotional story for the couple, which is what you're being hired to do. So that's the audio piece of this. So now that I have the audio chunked out, I'm going to finalize it later, but now I have my entire timeline. I'm going to fill shots based on what I'm looking for. So similar to what I was doing over here, I was just pulling selects out of here. So I'm going to go to assembly. And the next step that I do after I have all the audio, the storyline, and my timing paced out and I know where things are going, I'm going to go through every single one of my cameras and pull the best select clips out that I like. And I'm going to drag and right click and hit label. And then I like to label these based on the camera so I know which frame rates I'm using and which camera they were based on. So I'm going to do that next. It's been a couple days. I've just been going through and piecemealing this every couple hours that I have to get this where it needs to be. So as you can see from the tiles here, we're probably about halfway done with dropping footage on the timeline. With it being these two layers, like one of the instrumental and one of the layering of the lyrical. The lyrical does make it quite a bit louder, so once I do come in and dial in and drop in all of this footage on the timeline, then I'm going to go back to the audio and finesse the audio so it's not as jarring when the second track comes in and it's like super loud. So right now I've just got footage kind of filled in from the beginning here, and again just finding footage that the clips that fit based on my notes here. So we've got getting ready, the first look, some of the things going on. And I shot all of this footage in 1080p at 60 frames a second. So a lot of it kind of gives me a backup just in case if I need to slow it down to 40% for kind of that slow motion feel. So I've just kind of gone and done some more piecemealing, just dropping things in here and there. I'm going to continue to do this, and then once I fill up the entire timeline based on the clips that I marked out on the markers, we'll reconvene here and I'll show you what that looks like. The last couple days I've been working on this timeline just to get it all crunched together, and as you can see here, we've got most of it filled in following my notes that I had previously as well. I also went in and put some sound effects, just some basic ambiance noises in the beginning, like crickets and water and stuff like that. I also lowered all the audio levels down to -15 because I'm going to be playing audio from voiceovers from the reception. So there were some good sound bites from the speeches that I wanted to include, so I'm making sure that the audio itself is a little bit lower. And then I'm going to jack up the volume on the voiceover so you guys can hear it better. So we open up with these kind of nature shots showing kind of the location of their prep area where they're getting ready. The music starts in with the lyrics. We start seeing details of prep, getting ready.
Eric, the love you have for my sister is so obvious. I want to thank you 100 times over for filling her life with so much happiness, laughter, and endless amounts of queso and margaritas. Thank you. She loves those, and I do too.
So as you can see, I worked that dialogue piece in this chunk here. These two bottom layers, which for some reason my timeline's lagging. These two bottom layers right here, this one and this one, those are both dialogue with the lyrics of the song. So I'm squeezing in these voiceover chunks when it's not competing with other dialogue. So if there are lyrics in your music, you want to make sure that it's very quiet and in the background, because if you have those competing lyrics, it's really hard to understand what the person's saying or what you should be focusing on. So we started with the lyrics, it kind of gets happier. The climax of this scene is the first look.
I love it. Yeah.
So as you can see, when the music got a little more somber, I'm speed ramping to the drone shot for a transition into the church. So we got a mood change, and I wanted to have a scene change when we got to this point in the video. So now it's a little bit quieter, more somber. We're inside the church. See some details. Now some more beat, quicker cuts. Showing people with masks. So there we're doing quick cuts with the ceremony to try and make it seem more lively. With a super Catholic ceremony like this one, it was like an hour long. They get very dry. They do suck to sit through sometimes, unless you really are into it. So we want to try and get different angles, different locations around the church, different things to focus on. And then once the climax of the song hits here, we want to have the kiss, since that's the climax of the video. So as you can see with the last couple scenes, it's happy. I'm just showing happy people no matter what point in the day it was. It doesn't have to be chronologically in order. And I think a lot of you guys are going to get married to this idea that you have to have the video go in chronological order throughout the day. I try and hang on to that loosely just for the main events, but don't be afraid to intermix some of the stuff that fits well with the music and just kind of fits well with the track. Done, we're kind of showing some reception stuff, and then we're going to kind of come back in, so the music's going to slow down. And this is where I wanted to hit on the father of the bride when he's giving a speech, and he's kind of a sarcastic shit, so he's doing some funny things talking about a first look and what that means, and then he's talking about all these other funny things.
I'm like, what is first look? And I think back to probably a Schultz wedding.
So you can see with this being the main focus, I made the audio ramp way down. I went down another 10 decibels, so it's negative 25. And then when he's done talking, it'll ramp back up. But that's right here. And then since I did have a jump cut here in these green ones, I'm throwing just some B-roll over top of them dancing, just so it's a little more fluid and you don't really notice that it's a jump cut since I only had this one angle with him in it. My backup camera here was focused on the head table, and he kind of wandered up here and started talking. So that was an unmanned camera, and I didn't have a chance to get him in focus either. So I just had this main area that I can focus on.
At midnight, and everybody thinks, okay, party's over. It's not over at all, and you got big ideas for the rest of the night. And then you wake up in the morning going, oh shit, what did I do? And then all of a sudden, 9 months later, you get your first look.
So the audio ramps up. We got the grand entrance here. And there, since it was such a drastic drop, I just faded to black. And don't be afraid to do that if it makes sense. You can have some dead space that fades to black. And then here, obviously those shots are really dark, so I'm gonna go in and color those later on, but I'm just trying to lay the timeline out at this point. Slow dramatics. We're finishing it up with the love, how kind of goofy they are together, and how pretty of a day it was. So this whole sequence is just focused on them. So then we're kind of coming to that. We'll throw in some audio from the speech here. I'll fill this in.
I am beyond excited to watch the next chapter of your lives unfold together as husband and wife. I love you guys.
Now it gets intense. Faster cuts throughout the whole day. Everything that's going on. We're trying to squeeze it all in here. The audio is being stupid, but okay. So we're doing quick cuts, quick cuts. dreamy lullaby noise here. So I like to have the couple and the date, and then I usually throw my logo in there just because it's just kind of self-promotion. For whatever reason, wedding videos are one of the only ones that I actually put my logo on. I typically don't do them for other videos unless they are like a non-commercial client. So with these, I typically throw it in there and just make a quick little camera shot action. And then it kind of grows a little bit and then fades out. So kind of subtle, not super like obnoxious with it. So there were a couple gaps that I have not filled yet, so I'm going to go in and fill those in now with some extra B-roll shots. Kind of blend the songs together a little bit more so it's more cohesive. And then the very final thing that I'll do is I will go in and do color, and then I'll also add in little sound effects for different things as well. So like when I come into the church, I might throw some wedding bells going on in the distance, like just kind of like the bell tower ringing or something. And that'll kind of button up this edit. So I think I'm probably, gosh, I don't know, 20 hours in on this bad boy. When I first started doing wedding videos, I was about 40 to 50 hours to get it all edited. But now that I kind of have this flow that I do, which I just showed you how I do them, I can get them done in about half the time. So probably about 5 to 10 more hours left. More like 5, I would say, give or take. I think I'm pretty close to having this one done. So that's about it for this phase right now. All right, crew, the wedding video is done. I just went through and did all the color on each individual clip. I basically scrubbed through, and then if it's darker, I open up the Lumetri color panel and just select the clip and then start dragging things around where it needs to be a little bit brighter. I also put an adjustment layer over the entire thing on the top here for a utility LUT, which is Cine Warm Deep Blacks. I think I got it from Maddie Hipposia from YouTube. So this has kind of a orange and green and dark black look, which I think looked really cool with some of the outdoor footage, giving them, especially since the bride has red hair, it kind of complements her skin and the red hair pretty well. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. I went through, put the color in on all the different clips, and then I also went in and added a couple different sound effects that I hadn't done before. So I went in and added, like when we started the church, we've got some church bells and like a little choral singing going on, kind of subtle stuff like that. And then, just a couple different things here and there for tweaking on pacing. I also added like a speed ramp during the really jarring piano where it goes, I did like a speed ramp into that. And so this did not take another 5 hours. It took about 2 hours. So really just trying to get this one done because I have about 6 other projects that I need to edit, and I really wanted to get this video out sooner than later. So hopefully this video helps you guys out, helps you understand a little bit more about what goes into the mindset and the structure and the scripting of a wedding video. Like I said, I've done about, 50 of these or so over the past couple years, and this is my style, but your workflow can be a lot different, and I strongly suggest to learn from other people that are doing this, ask questions, figure out how people are sequencing their sequences together so you can learn new and innovative ways to make videos and make your wedding videos cool. So this one was priced at about, I think, $2,500. So in terms of quality in the Midwest, that's what the price tag was for something like this. I did about, 10 to 12 hours of coverage, 2 hours of travel, and then, like I said, probably 25 to 35 hours of edit. So again, weddings are a really good niche to get into. It's just a matter of trial and error, learning what you like and what you don't like. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Through my inhibition, I've become quite sure that I love you the most. That this could be the easiest thing if I'd let it, but I'm too afraid of losing it all. 'Cause if I leave everything on the table, then you might break my heart.
Eric, the love you have for my sister is so obvious. I want to thank you 100 times over for filling her life with so much happiness, laughter, and endless amounts of queso and margaritas. Thank you. She loves us, and I do too.
Oh, love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day. I've never been quite sure of myself or anyone else, but here I am with you. So I put my hesitations on the shelf, 'cause this is what I choose. This will be the easiest thing if I let it, and I can't be too afraid to fall. So I'm leaving everything on the table. You can have my heart. Oh, I know a love like this doesn't come around every day, and I just can't bring myself to give up right now. Not this way, 'cause I love you and I wanna hold you when we're old and gray. Oh, a love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day.
I'm like, what is first look? And I think back to probably a Schultz wedding when we were all partying and dancing, and dance gets over at midnight and everybody thinks, okay, party's over. It's not over at all, and you got big ideas for the rest of the night. And then you wake up in the morning going, oh shit, what did I do? And then all of a sudden, 9 months later, you get your first look.
'Cause I love you and I wanna hold you when we're old and gray. Oh, a love like this don't come around, don't come around. No, a love like this don't come around, don't come around every day. Every day. Oh, every day.
the next chapter of your lives unfold together as husband and wife. I love you guys.